following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Hallmark of Greatness Last Orders, the podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favourite actors and directors would rather forget that they were ever involved with. I'm Joe, and with me as always, a man once referred to as having even tinier feet than Meatloaf himself, it's James.
Oh, that makes me want to stamp them in frustration.
Don't, because you'll make little holes you can put seeds in. And powering around the recording studio in his special rocket-powered wheelchair, it's Planty.
When I was 10, I first started saying, "Wadana blah blah blah." Yeah. Okay, that fucking guy.
All that time ago. If you want to follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great and Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Greatness, or if, like other people have done, send us an email with films you want us to watch because you hate us.
Postcards? Yeah, that's fine too.
Yeah, Gmail, it's all there. You find it.
Smoke signal?
This film has done to me. It really has. We're recording this on a very special day, so we'll date it that way. Day when I washed the dog. And he did not like it. No. Well, let's get into this. This week's film chosen by absolute Twitter menace, Pat Vale. 1980s Terror on Tour.
What do you mean, thank you?
Also known as clowns.
I did right. There's many issues with this, but first of all, James, your synopsis-orama, please.
Well, today it's decided that it wants to be called the Flippant Action Portal of Croydon. And it said, it thought of this as, saw Terror on Tour, computed that in there for the people of Croydon, and came up with Shania Terror is a simple village wine producer.
She feels like a woman.
Who must solve an ancient Renaissance code, or else she will never see her best friend again. Things really get going when Shania encounters Stanley Torr, a rapping dog who has a cat allergy. Things really get going when his car breaks down near an old Native American totem pole and the unlikely duo must work together. Will they ever move back to that small town where she grew up? To some extent, yes. So that's referencing quite a few things that we've seen. The simple village wine producer, I think, has come from Deadly Cyberbully. The rapping dog, Titanic the Legend Continues.
The Legend Continues, obviously.
And there was a totem pole and Bridal Wave. So
yes, there was. I think there was also a wine producer in one of the Christmas ones that we did.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing.
It crops up, quite a lot, I think.
The actual synopsis for...
That's not the actual synopsis.
No, it would be better.
A rapping dog with a cat allergy.
He wants to chase them, but he can't. A rock band called The Clowns comes under suspicion of murder when several prostitutes are killed by individuals made up like members of the band. That's it.
They weren't prostitutes, though.
I believe
they were groupies.
He requested loose women.
I thought you just meant DVD.
Not the loose women.
No, not Janet Street Porter. Fucking
Is that the one?
Hello, the clans. Here I am.
Slapping her gums around. No. I don't know. I don't want to, the first one certainly wasn't. She was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
So,
well, I mean, it's not a prostitute, but yeah.
She never will be with that attitude.
It's not saying that she couldn't be both. Dream big, lady. Dream big.
She had her own business, I suppose they all do. Let's get into this then, shall we?
Oh, Christ. The film opens with what I thought was MC5. Just because they all had massive afros. We see the Clowns playing on stage.
Original music by The Names.
Yeah, and I was like, have The Names done anything else other than this?
I'll
the
give
music
you a
was
sweet fact from
Go for
this
it.
point onwards. The Names couldn't even get the name The Names. There's another band called The Names that are a Belgian post-punk band that got there first. So
Are you sure it's not them?
They were unsigned, essentially.
This was going to be their big break.
But actually, the band that we see, the Clowns, are The Names.
It feels like none of them were actors. Yes.
They weren't. They were musicians and they were unsigned.
They never will be with this. Either. If that was their gimmick of looking like sort of 1970s cosplayers of the Baseball Furies.
The New York Dolls, if they'd just been allowed to go on a bit. Yeah.
They're playing their hit song. Fuck knows what it is.
There was something about the truth. They kept going on about the truth. Yeah.
I don't know. It was generic sort of
Hair metal.
I want to say rock and roll, but
I was into the stage shenanigans of battering a mannequin. I quite like
I mean, I'm a big fan of stage productions of like women being stabbed on stage and arms and legs being pulled off.
A sofa with a throw on it. That was up there. Mannequins. They've all got masks on as well.
But they've
dancing women.
They've got painted faces, but then they've got like half domino masks on. And I was like, why are you painting your face then?
Yeah, and almost like one of the eyes on each of them was like a mutant eye.
Yeah, it's
all
all
melted. Yeah.
But why?
Don't know. Woman gets assaulted at the end there. That's not followed up. The clowns, everyone.
Yeah, the clowns. The band you wish you weren't. And then, like at the end of the gig, he just screams, "We're going to come to your house and cut you up."
Go home or we'll kill you.
We'll kill every one of you. We'll cut you into pieces and send you home in bags. Ah!
Yeah, and
that's how he ends it.
Like Kiss never did that.
I've seen bands like that though. The end shows that way.
I mean, I've been to gigs where I wished I was cut up and sent home, to be honest. And then we cut to backstage, and the first of many generic-looking men.
I'm very lost in who's who.
Right. I noticed that the agent was Jimmy, non-union Adam Brody.
I think he's credited as Timmy, or
he's Timmy.
Was he? Timmy.
But I thought Jimmy, so yeah.
I mean, he could have been Jimmy.
I
and then
feel
they
like
just
the
changed
names
it.
swap around so much.
Everyone was so generic looking. They looked like a fucking 1970s dock worker in New York. Like they could have been anyone.
I thought they were all they were all man from CNA.
Yeah, that was it. But then when the reveal at the end, I was like, "Which one are you?"
Yeah.
Also, it was so dark. It was like I can't see which one of you it is.
Look, they got like 3 daylight shots where they were walking through that park, and they're backstage
throwing beer.
Yeah,
there's
he's
lots
like,
of beer can throw, and then one of them's like, "Eat this, sucker!" And then like has a beer bottle, shakes it, and then spurts a bit of foam a few inches away.
Very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But he has run out of money, so
John Fogerty I've put him down as, hoping that I'd remember him. I didn't.
Well, according to the actual thingies, they're Fred, Ralph, Henry.
I thought there was a Hrolf in there somewhere.
There's a Jeff.
Oh, maybe that was Hrolf.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, one of them wants some drugs but has no money, so he borrows money off another one who's putting his face paint on, which if they've just done the gig, surely he should be taking it off.
I didn't know if he was actually fully in the band. He's just wandering
I
around
thought he
later.
was the sound engineer.
Yeah.
Because
not good enough for the band.
Yeah,
he's got this
later on.
complex going on, hasn't he? Like the other one says that he's ugly, and he's like, "Oh, don't call me ugly," sort of thing.
They're also bragging about how much fanny they get as well, which I find difficult to believe because they look like they stink, don't they? Let's be honest.
But it is 70s fanny they're getting, so you know.
I mean, as one of the women is credited as well-endowed lady. Yeah. Which is not the right... I wouldn't say endowed, would you? That implies penis to me. Generously proportioned lady.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a strange thing. So he gives him some money to buy some drugs.
Yeah, he gives him $50.
Yeah,
they joke about if there was a real body on stage. Oh, I'm sure that'll never happen. And then the manager's introduced at this bit, Timmy. He meets the club owner, who is a non-trade union Danny DeVito, for sure.
he is my favourite actor in this.
Doesn't get enough time.
He looks like Zero Mostel in The Producers.
That's fair.
He comes out and he goes, "Why you gotta get these kids so riled up?" he's like a fat Columbo, yeah. And Jimmy says, like, oh, well, we pack the house every night. Who's going to watch the clowns every night?
Yeah. So my question was this: how many nights are they engaged at this place? Because it's a big old place.
It's a big venue.
And in this scene, when we see the scene we've just seen, where we see the crowd, they're kind of like all pushed together in a little kind of grotty place. But then in the next scene, they're all sat down watching the gig.
Again, don't worry about it.
Like,
There's some gigs they go to where they don't even play, and everyone just throws food at one another.
yeah.
Maybe it was too like they do like an elders night where you have to sit down, and then they do one for the kids where you can stand up. Yeah, like when I went and watched Judas Priest, and it was all seated. It was very strange.
Did anybody go, sit down, you're ruining the show?
I was hammered, so I ended up getting some sandwiches from backstage. That was fun. But yeah.
Were they satanic sandwiches?
No, they were just like ham and cheese. It was quite good. But yeah, the manager, and they say, Timmy says, oh, we also want a party because we brought in a lot of money. The boys need to relax. So loose women, booze, drugs. And then for some reason, Columbo says, I charge for damages. It's like, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Columbo. We'll see you in a couple of scenes' time.
There's a drug dealer as well, drug dealer woman. I think that's John Fogerty goes to speak to her, and she accepts $50, and he says, "Oh, I'll bring the other half," but he's clearly not gonna.
I hope you don't. I hope it's not cold outside.
Yeah, she's
It's
waiting
the
for the
first
other
of
50.
many dark corridor porno music scenes I've put, because there's a lot of.
There is a lot of. Hey, that's the names, mate. That's what they're famous for. She's waiting outside.
The mix. Yeah.
And then someone approaches who we don't see who it is, but she says, aren't you supposed to be on stage or something? So it's clear that he's supposed to be made up like one of the band.
Yeah.
And then he stabs her, and we get the best line. I'm going to have to go through and clip this bit out because she just sounds so inconvenienced. He stabs her, and she goes, oh my God. And then just falls over.
All the stabbing sounds have got like really pantos, like.
It's very broing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she's dead, and this guy runs off. And then
one of the band says, "I'm about porked up," and I was like, "What?" They all say that that they've got an LP out, the tour is going well. Manager says they're looking pretty good.
How can they be on tour if they're playing the same venue every night?
Yeah.
That's not a tour, that's a residency.
Yeah. But it's too much for the drummer who wants to go to bed early on his waterbed and rest.
Is he the one that takes all the drugs later?
I think so, yeah. That's
right.
It's an ongoing concern that he's taking too many drugs.
The line there is, you're overdoing it, man. He's like, who told you? Your mother? What?
Yeah.
Great.
It was just improv, yeah.
And then he takes
they
one
were like
single
that all the time,
tablet
the names.
and washes it down with some clear liquid, which is quite blatantly out of the tap. And he goes, that's the stuff. What, water? H2O?
Yeah. He's dehydrated.
It was only like a tablet of valerian root or something like that just to help him sleep.
But the police show up.
Yep.
And they're trying to make a phone call. Columbo appears and says that phone doesn't work. And then, they ask him about it, and Columbo doesn't care. He's not bothered.
He's also the detective man is drinking out of a teacup as well.
He's brought
which
that
I
with
thought
him.
was a bit weird.
That's his gimmick.
That is the writer Alex Rebar adding writing as well as acting to the list of things he can't do.
I don't believe for a second this had a writer.
It did. That is the writer. Yeah. Yeah.
Alex Rebar. Isn't that just steel and concrete mixed together? Yeah, so the police are on the case, but they go, oh, it's just some prostitute. Don't worry about it, because this is 1980s New York, and, that's
and
the least of the
that
worries.
did happen as police work, yeah.
Yeah, it's the less dead, isn't
Sad
it?
commentary.
But, and then just, a series of events happen.
Event.
We get...
Tommy Ramone. I've tried to give them all Ramone names, and I gave up on that really early. One of them orders a pizza with extra onions, and they need to talk to Ralph. Jimmy approaches him holding an officer's swagger stick for some reason.
There was a good joke in that where he goes, no onions, and then Tommy Ramone goes, extra onions. Yeah. And also, the other one is playing some sort of pool.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, like bumper billiards.
Idea.
He's playing
bumper billiards. Yeah, but it's on a round table. I remember in the 90s there was a thing called Whirlpool that they tried to take off. It was a round pool table, but it had a cushion in the middle.
Right.
I only know that because the pub near me,
sounds
the
pretty
pub,
good, Yeah,
that
the
does
pub
sound
near me
familiar.
had it, and it was supposed to be the next big thing, and no one knew the rules of it, and it just became
Multi-ball.
an extra table to rest your drink on. But this seems bewilderingly confusing. They've got an album at, I think it's 73 in the charts, which isn't terrible. It's top 100.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. They're supposed to be on like the verge of greatness, but they're not quite there yet, although they've got sold out shows. At this point, we get a very rare daylight scene. And it's one of the band members, I think it's Rolf or whatever it was, with the manager Jimmy, although I didn't know that at this point. And his car's broken down and he needs money, and Jimmy doesn't have his money yet. And they all get really weird about it very quickly.
Are we going for a pizza? He says. And because I need my car's... It all feels like they were making it up as they went. Because he's like,
Yeah.
my car's broken. I think it's the carburettor. It's going to be expensive. These are just words that he's heard. But yes, Hrolf, the drug boy, doesn't have the money that I think... Was it Jimmy that gave him the money for the drugs?
I've got I don't think so, actually. I don't know.
I
Everybody
thought that
says
was the sound
you'll get your money
guy.
on Monday. Everyone's money's coming on Monday, and I don't know why. Is it a new tax? Yeah,
Tax.
I've got...
The clowns
no idea.
don't pay tax.
They don't even look like clowns.
They kind of, sort of, a little bit do. Scary clowns. But yeah, and then Hrolf stomps off. Jimmy goes and buys a pizza for himself, I guess.
Just got bored.
And then, from then on, my notes become vague to the point of non-existent.
Right, so there's a new show. Before that, I put one of them down as Lou Reed. I was still going for like a theme here. And it just, there's two of them on the phone at the same time about a murder, so it's gaining notoriety. And then it's the next show that I think doesn't happen, where there's girls, there's Coke, there's Schweppes ginger beer, because one of them has one of those like green bottles.
No, I think this is the party that Columbo set up for them.
They're all like made up as though they're about to go on stage.
Yeah, but how would you know it was the clowns otherwise, unless they had makeup on?
Oh, very good point, yeah.
All right, well, a woman goes up to one of them and says that they're better than the Beatles or the Kinks. Hot, fresh references by 1980.
But they don't sound like either of those bands.
No.
If they'd have said, like, you're better than, MC5 or... I don't fucking know.
The Velvet Underground.
Velvet Underground, the Ramones at
This
that
hot
point.
new sound called Bon Jovi.
Yes. You don't half sound a lot like... Fuck. Again, Rebar. And he's on the pulse of popular culture. And then, they just do drugs and...
Sinister music as the Killer's adorning his own makeup. There's another clue that it's somebody pretending to be part of the band. And then there's a nice interaction between that girl and one of the band members. Hey, your opening number was Killer. Yeah, we're the greatest. And they get deliver that line perfectly.
Oh, is this where they're in the weird sex room?
Yes, it's a horrible room called the Secret Blood Room.
Yeah,
I
that's
wonder
right.
why.
And
it
it
where
looks
you
like
keep-
it looks like the inside of the puzzle box out of Hellraiser.
Yes.
It doesn't even have central heating because everyone complains about how cold it is.
It's where they keep their secret blood for later on.
So this is the floor where the blood gets off.
But yeah, she's like, she tries to turn
She
him on
does
by
her
waggling
best.
her ass at him.
She does her best. Give her credit. I mean, it felt to me a bit like in Bob's Burgers where they've got that dice, the sexy dice, and it's got like, she says, "Hang me up and do it to me." Like that's the only thing she can think to say.
That's sexy enough, and that'll do. We're not doing 2 takes. No. But then she has sex with one of them, and he leaves.
Yeah, he
And then
says as he's leaving to tell her to say next and let the next band member in.
Which is gross.
It is. And she's like, "Oh, I'll do that favour for you," as though she hasn't fully figured out what that implies.
To be fair, it could just be him going round again with the makeup on. You'll never know, could you?
With a moustache.
The line here is, "We could go every which way but loose," and it made me wish I was watching a film with an orangutan and Clint Eastwood in it.
It would have been better if an orangutan smacked the door in then and just like, right turn, Clyde. Yeah.
It really sign blinded me with this because in a completely different wood-panelled room, another band member comes in to do her sex. And I was like, how is there's the secret blood room, and then there's the oak panelled room.
This was Ron Burgundy's office. It's walnut panelling, many books, and smells of rich mahogany.
I think it's more of a Crystal Maze style situation. You've got the secret blood room, the oak panel zone.
Which
Richard O'Brien.
Richard O'Brien's mum in it.
Yeah, Richard O'Brien's mum making you a cheese sandwich and stuff. That'd be nice.
It does have a kitchenette, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder they plan on staying and doing a residency at this place. It's got all the rooms.
I was going to say, is that their secret blood room? Like, though they've kitted that out, does Columbo know about that? Because that's destruction of property. They've sprayed all blood up the wall.
Oh, just wait until he finds out about the secret blood room. Oh, wait, it's a secret.
It's like the Stooges when they were doing heroin. This, yeah.
It is pretty rank.
It's not a sexy room.
The woman in the oak panelled room, anyway, she does her best being sexy and everything. Tries calling him over like a cat. Come on, come over here.
Doesn't she say something like, that cocaine made me really horny?
Oh, it's very Moorish, isn't it?
I mean, that might be all well and good, but I've not heard any 20-something British football fan in 2020 say that. And they're all on coke.
This cocaine has made me... This feels like someone who's never done drugs or seen a band has written a film.
or seen a film, for that matter.
There's a lot of carousing at this point. The band are carousing. And there's somebody playing a fake Marquee Moon thing in the background. It's almost like a hair metal version of Marquee Moon.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, well, that's brave.
Somebody's going to get sued.
Famously litigious Marquee Moon.
I think one of them picks up an acoustic guitar as well, plays 2 notes, and then puts it down again.
Did you say something like that? That's what we used to be like. We used to be pop masters or something. I'm like, it was 2 years out. That
a woman picks up like a drumstick or something, and then a band member says, "Throw one more piece of food and you're dead." I was like, what? What's that? Some party
nice.
This is.
They're not. Yeah, it's a terrible party. I've been to the secret blood room, right? Someone did a sex on me that I didn't want.
It also implies that she's been doing it throughout, like a tricky drumstick or something. No, stop it. One of the topless woman, I think from the oak panelled room, then takes a seat in the empty stands, and I've put him as the fandom of the opera, which I thought was very clever. He's wearing all the band's makeup and everything. Comes along and she says, "No, is there anything I could do for you?" And he says, "Yes, die,
die."
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
That's the noise the stabbings make, by the way. It's not foggy out. And then I think he goes into the secret room of blood and just cuts her throat.
Yep, he goes there as well. And meanwhile, the carousing is still going well, as you can tell, because people have started removing the linen from the tables. It's a well-catered event, this.
You can't get them into wash. Columbo won't be happy.
And then I thought a member of the band was on his cleaning round. It's one of them, isn't it? It's not just another generic man with brown hair.
It could be.
Goes in.
Everybody does look the same, though. I have no idea.
They could have at least worn T-shirts with like
got a
John
shirt
on them.
It could be any of them. He sees lots of bloody rags in the bin, which he instinctively grabs. And then he finds lots of bodies in the stalls.
Hepatitis hadn't started in the 80s.
Well, to be fair to them, the DNA sequencing thing hadn't happened. But I suppose this, like, would fingerprinting really work? I still wouldn't, go up and like cherish the bloody bandages or something.
I tell you, at this point where he's in the bathroom, I'm going to bring up something that I looked into. So shout out to the worst YouTube channel I think I've ever found, Mountain Top 90, which is a really shit name. It's a review channel that I found on YouTube of this guy that is just so fucking angry about horror films. It's painful. And he said in his review of it, these girls are willing to throw their shitty pennies at the band and, I quote, lick my shitty asshole. I mean, and he specifically showed close-ups, zoomed-in close-ups of these shit-stained bits of rubbish in the bathroom at the time. I'm shouting this guy up because I think he needs help, mostly. Not only he needs a
Go back
name,
to what you know, mountaintops. That's what I want to see. Hot plateau action.
But At no point are girls willing to throw shitty panties at anybody. It looks like someone's just wiped their ass, and instead of flushing it, maybe they're in Greece. Maybe this is filmed in Greece.
Yeah.
Instead of flushing it, they put it in the bin. But that guy was adamant that that's what happens, and that
No,
the
it
girls
was-
are desperate to lick shitty assholes as well.
No, it was blood, wasn't it?
Well,
Yeah, because there was like there was a corpse in each stall, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, Mountaintop 90. Fuck off.
Yeah, he looks like I'm sure listeners will go and find Mountain Top 90. He looks like I was going to say Odd Job. He's not called Odd Job, is he? He looks like Richard O'Brien's character out of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Riff Raff.
Riff Raff. There you go.
This brings the police back anyway, and I swear to God that not Lumbo, he's the other one, isn't he? But the detective is drinking a can of beans. It must be like one of those old beer tinnies, that actually looks like a can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Anyway.
you would have still had that in that day, yeah.
The detective orders a cop who's what's his name? Lambert. Lambert is his name. It's a very odd Christian name, that Lambert. Lambert Simnel. It's the only one I can think of.
Is this the excitable cop? The excitable young cop?
Oh, he's not young.
No, I'm mixing him up with somebody else because
He's
there's
younger
a guy,
than the other one, though.
There's this
Oh,
excitable
no, there's
cop.
Holmes. Holmes later on. He's
Yeah,
the
he's
excitable one.
very
He's been
excitable.
a sergeant for 3 days.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Detective, I love
Lit up
homicide.
the screen.
Oh, he's the best thing, isn't it?
No, it's not him. Yeah, he's ordered to bring in the famous Gene, cute undercover agent that they'd used for. So he goes off to do that. And then he conducts a dusk interview with the band members, because I was really noting down the time of day.
I think it was like, in Clerks, it all had to be filmed at night.
Yeah.
I think it was a similar situation. They had, like, this venue, and they could only... No, because that wouldn't make sense to use it only at night, would it? It would have, like... Music venues would be during the night you'd have shows on.
Yeah, so all the rest of the time it should be day.
Yeah. Sort it out.
But, I mean, that would be the leitmotif that something is about to go down, is because it's dark. I mean, that would have... Yeah, I'm not a filmmaker, but, should have been.
Neither's fucking Alex Rebar.
Part building material, part filmmaker, all that.
Oh,
How did the band respond to the interview with the police?
the same way they respond to everything, with just general aloofness.
And misogyny. One says that there's so many girls passing through here that even if they did tell us their names, we'd need a computer to remember them all.
A computer?
Yeah, computer, no less.
He's got a disc with all the ladies' names on it.
But it's floppy.
Ladies, what I've done a sex on.
Jimmy's alibi, meanwhile, is that he was at the deli getting a sandwich.
He got a sandwich! It was catered, Jimmy. Why?
People kept throwing the food around. He couldn't get pastrami for shit when you were there. And then the Shire one, who's I've named him as Uggo Rolf. He was there, but he says he was in makeup, even though they never played an actual song. I've put at this point, this is a giant game of Among Us. They're all urged to leave, not to leave town. So
We can't. We've got a residency here.
I can't find my way out of the complex. Oak panelled room again.
Yeah, do
Oh,
they
it's the
live
blood
there
room.
as well?
I guess so, yeah. They're
That's-
never shown anywhere else. It's
That's
weird.
disheartening, isn't it?
It's like Andy
Oh.
Warhol's factory or something.
Yeah.
Actually, it's exactly
The
how I
cat
imagined
factory.
it. And then they're down in the kitchenette, and John Fogerty gets a tin of what I think is pate out of a cupboard and some prunes. I just start eating them.
At least he's regular.
He's keeping himself regular. He's rich but regular. Yeah.
With the drummer, and the drummer starts getting into did you do it? And the drummer's like, yeah, I did it. I skinned them all for my drum kit.
I want to skin them for my drum kit, and I was like, that's weird.
You shouldn't really make jokes about that while you're on suspicion of murder, but yeah.
I mean, you just say
Rock
it
and
wasn't
roll.
him. Just say it wasn't him that said it. They'd believe him because it could be any of them.
Yeah. There's another rare daylight scene in the same park as before. One of them's on a bridge, isn't he? He's sat on a bridge. Anyone get the dialogue for this bit?
No.
Struggled with the dialogue throughout. This
There's
made
a woman
me think.
passing by, exercising. He goes, hi. And she goes, hi. How are you? Forget it. And then she runs away. That was probably a real interaction as well.
It was all very. It's Reddit before Reddit. This, isn't it?
So I think the script for it was just basically improvise and we'll cut something together. Yeah. Spinal Tap did it.
Yeah.
But in this, we've got such quality lines of dialogue as "Hello."
And we cut to the drummer doing a sex on a woman on a waterbed.
Is he off his drugs yet?
Probably not, because he says, stay under the covers or I'll kill you. And he judges his penis to be 8.5 inches long. No! Make that 9.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not how penises work.
Is this the woman that walks by and she's like, I'm going to meet my boyfriend, the drummer? Like, how do you know?
That's slightly later. But,
okay.
But I rendered that dialogue slightly differently, and it was maybe like 50% more funny.
No one wants to brag about banging a drummer anyway.
No. Jimmy is with another generic band member. Could be like multiple.
How many members of the Clowns are there?
So many, but this one's feeling a bit angsty and wondering what the audience will think, and they'll think we're sick. They're sick, and he's got a shirt that says "It ain't easy being green," and I didn't really know what that was about.
It's Kermit the Frog, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Coming for that big Henson sponsorship.
It didn't really look like. Yeah, it didn't really look like that. But Jimmy tells him to calm down, and then invokes rock and roll as he leaves. And then Uggo Rolf, he finds an open briefcase in the kitchenette, and he reads out a family letter, very churchy. And then he goes to the bathroom, and something's clearly not right as he takes meds using the toothpaste holder as a receptacle for the water, which I thought was,
yeah, you get all that gunk at the bottom.
Like, fluoride at the bottom of it, yeah.
Oh.
He needs that, though.
This letter, by the way, it was from his mum about Satan being a prick or something. I couldn't quite figure it out.
Yeah, it was. I hope you're not playing that rock and roll music as it is a gateway for Satan or something. I was like, even Satan's bored by this. Yeah. Satan wouldn't show up for this. He'd be like, I've got better things to do. I've got better bands to go and be associated with than you bunch of clowns. That's what he'd say. No, how many members of the Clowns are there? Because I think 4. Because there was like a drummer, a bassist, guitarist, singer.
And then I think there's 2 that are sort of like semi-members.
Right,
members. Because Jimmy falls out with one of them.
I thought he was the sound guy that they fell out with.
Yeah,
I know, but I think they want to. I think they're roadies.
Right.
Want to be part of the band.
Like Meatloaf.
Yeah. I mean, Uggo did look a little bit like Meatloaf. He nearly made it to the naming convention. And
he went to the deli to get some meatloaf. Yeah, after that, I ain't got a clue because I stopped taking notes.
Well, this is where the band are in costume jamming as the cop turns up. One of them says, you've got to be weird to be a cat. And I thought, that's a weird observation. But all right. And they joke about killing somebody live on stage. And they get out this fake knife.
Yes.
Which I thought was going to be way more of a,
red herring
device.
Yeah.
We all thought it was going to get swapped out. And this retractable blade was going to be swapped out for one without a retractable blade. And
like Jonathan Creek. Yeah.
But at this point, Gene shows up. More plot. Cop Lambert, he gives her a ticket and a backstage pass, and she automatically rips it up and hates him because he's a bastard and called Lambert. And I thought, I quite like the energy between the two of them. This is good.
I don't think she's an undercover cop. I think she was someone they busted.
Yes.
And is like an informer now.
That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
and he uses her because the line he says is, they'll never trust an undercover cop, but they'll trust her.
I thought there was something a bit more dark there. I thought he, in particular, had busted her, and then I thought, I wonder if that was like prostitution or something like that, and there was an element of him being seedy, because they mentioned something to do with his wife.
We're giving more credence to this than they ever did.
Lambert has got a florid backstory, I'm sure of it.
Well, write your fan fiction. The Diary of Lambert, brackets, Sergeant for a Day.
Jimmy then falls out with one of the other nameless band members, but goes to Uggo. No, you're all right.
You're the cool one.
Everyone will get their money on Monday, so it's all right.
All these murders have happened in the space of 2 days as well.
Yeah.
Right. That's
John Fogerty then says, "Oh, right away, Massa," sort of thing, like fake slave talk. And I thought, shouldn't have done that.
No.
How many other films are you in now?
None of them have links on IMDb. It's one film.
Yeah. And then we get to the bit where there's an acoustic set. Anyone want to mention it earlier?
Christ.
I've got the lyrics down.
Oh,
right.
Please do.
Excellent.
All right. So they're all... This is backstage, intimate sort of...
For the fans.
Lambert's there. Oh, everyone's there. Lambert's around. Everyone's around. And it goes, remembering me and you together. remembering we shared our love together forever and ever together. Just like you'll wonder where it went as we talked about what's finished in the present tense. Yeehaw! I see straight out to the end, past every friend you've rammed right through. Oh, Lisa, we're dying out. Oh, Lisa, it's the truth. And then Lambert's like, oh, that's good shit, that is. Groove. We're into the last 30 minutes.
Think of a
everyone.
bee, you are its needs.
I think it's they kind of do that. It's a more sentimental song than "I'm going to kill you and stuff you into a little box." And they say something about how they used to write stuff like that.
Yeah, they used to be popmeisters was their exact turn of phrase. Yeah, which I guess for Rolf that's his native language, isn't it?
But yeah, we're into the last 30 minutes. They've got one show left of this never-ending residency. The crowd's out there chanting, "We want clowns!" Or it might have been that.
Are they not shouting, "Send in the clowns"?
That would have been that. They should have come on stage to the music. Yeah.
And the doors fall off their car.
All the cars fall off. One of them's got a big buttonhole that fires water out, you know.
John Fogerty gets fired by Jimmy for not doing his job, which is setting up all the sound
He's
equipment.
supposed to set up all the sound equipment, and he doesn't do it because he's too busy putting makeup on when he's not in the band.
And then the other guy comes in and he says, "Do you want me to put your makeup on as well?" "Yeah, it's a swell job." And you kind of, okay, swell.
What are you from the 1940s?
Yeah, see.
Joan is also walking around. She meets a blonde lady who'll turn up later, who says, "So I rendered this as, I'm going to make the drummer my boyfriend."
Oh,
Right.
I see. That's a bit more like it, yeah.
Yeah. She goes off to go and meet Ugo, and he claims that he wears makeup all the time. And she just goes, "Must be hell on your pillowcases."
I missed that.
I was like, "Joe, have you written this?"
Oh, no, I thought she said. I thought I had it hard. I think she says as well, because he says he wears makeup all the time. Yeah, fucking.
It was good, that. I hope she improv'd that.
Oh dear.
She charms him. He goes to check on his equipment, which might be a double entendre. And then she spots the prop knife on his makeup table and is delighted by it. She loves that. And then he comes back, surprises her, and asks her out.
He found love.
Yeah. And then the cop talks to somebody who looks a bit like Charles Manson about Holmes, who is the next best thing in this film, who's currently asleep, apparently. Yeah, I love his comings and goings. The killer's doing his makeup montage. There's going to be a stabbing somewhere. And then Holmes turns up, goes to the detective with a list of names and descriptions, which I presume are just his observations, just stood behind. It's almost like in the bleachers. He's just like writing down people's names and descriptions from afar.
Yeah, he's Holmes, mate. He's got skills. Master criminal profiler Holmes.
And he's the one who's been a sergeant for 3 days. He's just loving every minute of it.
Yeah, he is. He's too old for this shit. three days into his job as opposed to retirement. Yeah.
He doesn't turn up enough. I think that's the last you ever see of him, actually. Which is a bit weird, because of all the stabbings that go on, only the detective then, Lambert, turns up to any of it. So I don't know what that's all about. Blonde lady is in the secret blood room, and she has some of my favourite improv lines from the whole thing, because they've clearly just said to her, "Be sexy. There's a noose in there. You know, do what you want with a noose.
I'm sexy.
Have fun with a scene." And she enters and goes, "Oh, I like this. Oh, I can really get down here." And the creepy masked man in there says for her to take off her clothes, and she does so for a long time and says, "Oh, you're going to really love this. This is going to be good, man. Oh, you're going to enjoy this." And then just kisses the noose.
It's like Phoenix Nights. Oh, just you wait till I get you up there. She has this strange way of talking, the strange way with language. I thought she was a foreign actor that didn't really speak English. You with a sexy painted face. You going to enjoy this, you know. Like, what?
Why does that sound like a cryptic crossword?
Why was it that we both got to the scene and then just started writing down dialogue? I don't know. So she says that it's cold in there, and he points out a blanket, and she says, "Well, we'll see about that."
It is a blanket, madam.
What are you going to do with it? Like, magic trick and it's gone. And then she calls him over like a cat as well. They're all doing it. But he walks towards her and he's got a dagger behind his back. Much stabbage come. So that was unfortunate.
There's not a lot to say about this. You've got more out of this than I did, because
Secret blood room.
That's where all the action
happens.
happens.
To be blood. Yeah. The band, meanwhile, they mutter about the murders as they prepare for their next show. They run out on stage to do a series. I think they do 2 songs, and they both feel like they last about 7 minutes.
Yeah, it just goes on and on and on at this point, doesn't it?
This is the name's masterwork. This is their, Inagada Davida. This is...
Don't you take those whole words out of your mouth,
mate.
That is a beautiful piece of music.
No, that's what I'm saying. This isn't. No. But this is 6-7 minutes of whittling, isn't it? It's bad.
Well, the only other song they know is Marquee Moon, and they're not allowed to play that. So.
We've snuck it in once, lads, and I think we've got away with it.
Joan finds the secret blood room and a corpse. And then there is genuinely the most terrifying bit of this is when the killer looms up out of the shadows, which are made extra cool by the fact you can't see fucking anything.
Yeah.
And then she kicks him into a wall, which I thought was good. Does a big run. I think he gets a cut on her and it slashes her cheek.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a bit of a sort of cat and mouse thing. She goes and hides in the equipment room. And is this the bit where she does like a long walk around a corridor for 7 hours?
There's a big long, I'd say chase scene, but
yeah.
No one seems to be like
chasing.
Asked. Yeah.
This is like loads of open doors, isn't it? It's like a Scooby-Doo chase. But disappointingly, she didn't get a massive sandwich at the end.
Go to the deli with
Cop comes down at one point, gets stabbed. not a big massive fight scene there.
Just stabbing.
Joan, eventually, she's been wandering around this corridor, which loops back round to the stairwell, where she finds his body. She's making a fucking racket throughout this as well. She's like clambering into stuff, going, sort of thing. And then she gets his gun, and I thought, all right, this is going to be good. And then immediately gets stabbed and dies.
Yeah,
so,
don't worry about it.
Right. And she manages to pull his mask off his face, and we see that it's a man.
Which one is it?
It's Timmy.
He's still got lots of makeup on as well.
The manager?
Yeah, it's the manager in the end, yeah.
It is the manager.
Fucking hell.
Timmy.
Oh!
Yeah, non-union Adrian Brody.
I didn't think it was... I thought it was the sound guy.
But then he goes down there. Yeah. So Ugo, I think his name is Herb at this point, but I'm sure it was Hrolf before. Anyway, he finds the body. There's too much blood in the blood room, and then he bumps into Timmy.
It's supposed to be secret blood.
Too many people know about this. And then there's a whole thing of Jimmy saying. It was me. I've got the dagger. Women like that have defiled themselves and have no right bringing children into the world. But I liked you. You were good. And he says this again and again. And then there's a mad chasey stairs scene. Ugo Herb gets like stabbed in the back. Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking. So that letter about Satan.
Yes.
Was that from Timmy's mum?
I think it was. Yeah.
Right.
Mad plot action. All makes sense now.
No. No, it doesn't.
Ugo Herb, Hrolf, whatever his name is, he collapses on stage all bloody, and then Jimmy just like chases him and lands on top of him, stabbing. And everyone looks around and the band stops playing, and I thought, it's probably him then. And it freezes on his face saying, stop!
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Freezes, as though, it's like the highlights of the summer sort of thing.
And that's the film.
I've got to be honest, I got a real kick out of this credit, which claimed it was an Intercontinental World Distribution Corporation flick, right? And I was
That's a lot of words.
That's all the words I know.
That used to be my favourite wrestling belt back in the day.
I mean, there's nothing else to say about this. Mr. Pat Vale's normally fairly on the money with his recommendations, but this is garbage. This is getting one bronze folding knife.
I was going to go with a folding knife.
All right, one bronze deli sandwich.
All right, well, in that case, I'll go for... You see, it wasn't... It had a plot, it was quite short, and that did it some favours. It had a moment where it made me laugh, where she mentioned his bed pillow sheets. I'm going to give it 4 bronze secret blood rooms.
Ooh.
I suppose it's a bronze room.
Oh my god.
2 bronze Scooby-Doo corridors.
There we go.
I tell you one thing I will say is that watching all the makeup being put on, I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever that fucking hack Todd Phillips nicked loads of this for that fucking Joker film that I hate, that everyone else loves.
Oh, I tried watching that the other day.
It's unbearable.
I fell asleep.
It's like a fucking Reddit post, is what it is. Yeah.
I liked it when that little fella was joking around. That was fun. At the clown house where they all lived.
Segue into the next podcast where we do the Joker. I thought the chat show bit with Robbie De Niro was a bit too long speechy, and it didn't get any more profound as it was going along.
Yeah, it wasn't as clever as it thought it was, even nearly.
No, it wasn't.
Well, we're getting a second one that's also a musical because fucking there is no God. Yeah.
With Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga.
Yeah. Alan Gaga.
Yeah,
Yuri Gagarin.
There was a rumor going around many years ago that she was secretly a man.
Okay.
And so we started calling her Alan Gaga.
All right, okay.
As a fun thing, and then just because Alan Gaga is a fun name. As
well.
It
is. Yeah, it is.
All we hear is Alan so on. Anyway, moving away from Joaquin Phoenix's, that was 1980s Terror on Tour, also known as Scented Clowns.
That was The Clowns. It was in 1980, same year as Rhodey. Don't know why 1980 is such a hole for films, but there we are. It was made in 7 days, 7 nights.
Like Passover.
The names, they were a rock group, and they played the Clowns. They were a band from Rockford, Illinois, USA, and definitely not to be confused with a Belgian post-punk band, as they keep saying on their Facebook page. They never did anything. I think they released some stuff in the 80s and then just quit. Chip Greenman was
is he
Ralph.
One of these made-up characters?
One of the robot characters. Yes.
I knew you'd love his name. He was the drummer. I don't know if he was the drummer in the film or if he was just the drummer of the names. And he was very nearly in Cheap Trick. He was in their precursor Fuse, and then they made it big. And then when they made it big, they were like, "Do you want to come and join us, Chip?" And he turned them down because he was in the names now, and they were making films about clowns.
So what you're saying is he didn't want you to want me.
Very good. Cut that out. I surrender. I surrender. None of the band ever starred in anything again. So
good. They
Chip
should
Greenman.
be shot into the sun.
It was directed by Don Edmonds. His most famous film, and I hadn't heard of this, but apparently it was really notorious, is Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS.
Yeah.
In 1975.
It was one of those films that someone had, and you'd go and watch it at their house.
Yeah.
It's trash.
Like it.
Yeah.
Sounds it. 1975. I came across a word today that I'd never encountered before, which is Nazi exploitation, and I kind of wish that it had never been coined, but there we are. His last film was Tomcat in 1991, which is where 4 women graduate the US Naval Top Gun Academy. Don't feel like they should have gotten away with using Top Gun. When 2 of them are promptly shot down on their first Gulf assignment, the other 2 and their instructors head out to rescue them. Love and stock naval air footage is hard boiled. Before his death, he had an interview with somebody, and he seemed to distance himself from the film. He said,
"I don't remember doing it.
I don't think it went very well. It never played theatrical. It was just videotape. The Clowns was just a movie name. The names were like a nickel and dime trio out of Arizona or something. One of them tried to contact me a year ago, but I never connected with him."
Oh, get in touch with Rolf.
He's dead now, so seance? I don't know.
If you could speak to the dead, are you going to use it to contact Rolf?
It was written by Alex Rebar. He did serve as a writer. He did a few sort of acting stints as well, this being a very minor footnote in his career. His most famous one is The Incredible Melting Man, which does seem to have been, it's on like, I've seen posters of it.
Yeah.
1977. That was him.
You've missed, James, you've missed Don Edmonds was the Colombo nightclub owner in this. Yeah?
No,
Yeah, saw it in the
Alright.
credits, wrote it down.
What?
Don Edmonds was the club owner.
What, Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
That was him?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
What are you gonna do?
I forgot about it!
Yeah.
Oh, the screen loved him.
He's a face for Scream.
Missed calling. Tim Jim, Larry Thomas. This is my last one. He later went on to be the Soup Nazi in Seinfeld.
Oh,
everyone
the
keeps
soup
saying.
Nazi, yeah.
I never watched Seinfeld enough to really
no
pick
soup
up on
for
that.
you, James. Yeah,
Yeah, so I gather.
But also more Nazis. Yeah.
yeah kind of.
He was also in Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery as the casino owner, I think.
Oh, that kind of
fucking
that kind of
Lord
rings a bell,
knows.
yeah.
But more importantly, he posted on IMDb an apology for my performance. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for this film, he said, for anyone who makes the mistake of sitting through the movie, it's clearly us. It's clearly talking to us. I just decided to become an actor, and I knew very little about it. I was majoring in journalism at junior college theatre class to get a date with a girl I like, and got interested in acting. Before I've been there. I drove a friend to the audition of Terror on Tour, originally called Clowns, and the director, Don Edmonds, asked me to read. I told him I wasn't ready as an actor film.
And
I
he said,
didn't know
that
anything.
doesn't matter.
None of us are.
Didn't know anything about acting, much less film acting. He cast me, and he talked me into doing it. I was patently awful. I overacted every word and indicated like crazy. Above that, a year after initial filming, when I knew a little more about acting, they called me back to shoot 2 pickup scenes. Spot as my hair was much shorter. I didn't pick up on that. I was told to yell my dialogue as there would be loud rock music playing in the background. The other guy in the scene was producer Sandy Kobe, who wasn't an actor and couldn't really handle yelling while imagining loud music. In the end, they forgot to add the music, so it seemed like I was overacting even more than the rest of the film. When I saw the film, I came very close to quitting trying to be an actor altogether. The only reason I didn't quit is that I figured that if I could spot how awful I was, maybe I had a chance to learn how to do it right. The band members were a real band and had never acted before, so you could forgive them for their acting. The rest of the cast was, in my opinion, there was just one good actor, Jeff Morgan, or Go Herb. In the film, he actually seemed to be in the moment and connecting on an honest level. And you were talking, I saw the film, I could see it form. I never heard from him again. I don't know what he's doing now, but I do think he escaped the horror of this horror. I hope whoever has been to see me in this film will understand my horror and that it still exists. And he signs that off with Soup Nazi 4. Also, Uggo Herb never starred in anything again.
No,
so
bless him. Oh,
Yeah.
Jeff Morgan. I wonder what he's up to. We'll never know.
Right in.
Yeah.
Send in a postcard like we said at the start, smoke signals.
If you are Jeff Morgan, get in touch, because
yeah.
we have so many questions. Like, who was the killer? I still don't understand.
What was your name?
Yeah,
I still don't know.
According to the thing, he was called Herb.
Not Rolf.
According to IMDb, he's called Herb.
Right.
There's someone called Cherry. Who the fuck's Cherry?
I don't know. I think he was only called Herb in the last 30 minutes, though.
Don't worry about it. They
I'm not going to go back and check. But yeah, them's your facts. Deal with it. Mic drop. I did a mic drop and then I realised that nobody would be watching this, so I had to say it.
Reviews. I mean, James has already done the best review for this from one of the actors in it, discrediting himself and being in it. But there are some other ones. None of them, not even the ironic 10s, this is great. Everything is like, this is dog shite. But we've got dull slasher movie, but plenty of nudity by Humanoid of Flesh 22. The clowns are rocking hard on stage. Their energetic and insanely cheesy performance includes decapitating mannequins. During the show, a dealer is murdered and the groupies are dying, stabbed to death while being semi-naked. Is the killer a crazed band member? Or perhaps a nutty fan? Terror on Tour is an ugly and very dull slasher movie, directed by Don, Eels of the She-Wolf of the SS, Edmonds. The direction is lame, the acting is poor, and the characters are bland and annoying. Even the horror and stalk and slash scenes leave something to be desired. The killings are just stabbings, and there is a bit of blood, but plenty of naked female flesh. 5 clowns out of 10.
Humanoid of flesh has his
got his own rating system there, hasn't he? And finally, because most of them just said it's a terrible film, but 3 out of 10, Clowning Around by Hail Devilman 13. Jesus. The producers of this crap owe the horror fans a big apology. There's no way they could have been serious. This was a sorry excuse for a comedy? Question mark? Is it? They tried gore for no reason other than they knew the joke was flat. This gets 1 star for the idea and another for the concert scenes, even though the music was anything worse I could think of.
Hey?
Just imagine better music in your head then. Yes. Just Tasman Archer Satellites, a tune.
It wasn't bad music, Hail Devilman 13. It was just noise.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything special. It was just generic hair rock, wasn't it?
Death follows a metal band on tour. Did they do it? Will you care? No. Put it back and rent something else instead. Hail Devilman 13.
Don't tell me how to live my life, Devilman 13.
He has and he will. There is a fun thing for this as well, though, that I've just found, is that there is a Hysteria Lives website, which I'm assuming tracks body counts in films.
Oh.
And there are 8 deaths in this, 2 male, 6 female.
Yeah.
1, female stabbed in stomach. 2, female stabbed to death. 3, female has throat slit. 4, female stabbed in chest. A lot of stabbing, you see. Female stabbed to death. Male stabbed in gut, stabbed in stomach, male stabbed in back. And that's
And the final stab in the back is this film.
Yeah. Don't watch this. It is terrible. But that
Goodbye.
That, in conclusion, was Terror on Tour, a.k.a. Clowns. Your favourite lines from the film? And there is a lot to pick from.
Must be hell on your pillowcases.
Detective, I love homicide.
Oh my god.
You've got to be weird to be a cat.
You, with sexy painted face, you're going to enjoy this, you know.
It's 8.5 inches. No, 9.
Stop!
I'm about porked up.
All right, Liz Truss. Christ.
That is a better film than Oh, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. See you next time.
Next, stabby sound.